I'm so glad to be back with you on a Wednesday, and I knew that coming back today was going to be important. I knew that being here the day after Super Tuesday was going to matter. Not because the results were who's going to win. We knew who was going to win, but obviously now the storylines after Donald Trump comes out victorious are the VP pick, Nikki Haley's press conference today. There's a lot to dissect, but I didn't think I was going to come back today after we had our third daughter on Sunday, Charlotte Rose, 8 pounds, 14 ounces, big old baby, and would have the opportunity to share with many of you for the first time this viral video of Kansas City leaders reading a book on National Reading Day. I don't know if you saw this, but it went viral last night courtesy of the ever-famous and growing Twitter account Libs of TikTok. And what Libs of TikTok does is they find, news stories that aren't getting covered either locally or nationally, and they blow it up. Well, this was on the Kansas City, Missouri, and it still is up, on the Kansas City, Missouri YouTube page. And it's a bunch of elected officials, including Mayor Lucas, reading a book to kids for National Reading Day, which came this past Saturday. It was March 2nd. I didn't know, by the way, it was National Reading Day. I don't know if you did, but that's news to me. I think every day should be National Reading Day. Heck, no one in this country can read as is, so we should do more reading instead of saving it for one day a year. Maybe that's part of our problem. There is a National Reading Day. But anyway, it's the, I don't want to say it's the city council. It's members of the city council, including Mayor Lucas, Jonathan Duncan, Andrea Boo, Rihanna Park Shaw, who desperately wants to be the mayor, City Manager Brian Platt, Sheree Honeycutt, who is the press secretary for Mayor Lucas, reading this book titled Introducing Teddy, a gentle story about gender and friendship. And I'm going to read the description off Amazon, and then I'll play the audio of these individuals reading this book on National Reading Day. The summary of Introducing Teddy, they write here on Amazon, Errol and his friend Teddy are best friends who do everything together. One sunny day, Errol finds that Thomas is sad. That's his Teddy, Errol and Thomas. Even when they're playing in their favorite ways. Errol can't figure out why, until Thomas finally tells Errol what the Teddy has been afraid to say. Quote, in my heart, I've always known that I'm a girl Teddy, not a boy Teddy. I wish my name was Tilly, not Thomas. And Errol says, I don't care if you're a girl Teddy or a boy Teddy. What matters is that you are my friend. So here's the audio that has since racked up 1 million views on X of leaders in Kansas City reading this book over the weekend on the Kansas City YouTube page, Introducing Teddy, a gentle story about gender and friendship. Let's roll the tape.
Happy National Reading Day.
Today, we are reading Introducing Teddy,
a gentle story about gender and friendship.
It was written by Jessica Walton and illustrated by Dougal McPherson.
Errol and Thomas the Teddy play together every day.
They ride their bike in the backyard.
They plant vegetables in the garden.
They have sandwiches for lunch in the treehouse.
And they have tea parties inside when it's raining.
One day,
Errol woke to find the sun shining through his bedroom window.
Hooray! He shouted. Come on, Thomas, let's go to the park and play.
Thomas the Teddy didn't feel like playing.
You seem sad today, Thomas, said Errol.
Don't worry, the park will cheer you up.
Thomas the Teddy wasn't so sure.
Oh no, even the swing isn't working.
That's Andrea Boo, by the way, City Council. Oh no!
What's wrong, Thomas? Talk to me.
If I tell you, said Thomas.
You might not be my friend anymore. Thomas isn't even looking.
I will always be your friend, Thomas.
Thomas the Teddy took a deep breath.
I need to be myself, Errol.
In my heart, I've always known that I'm a girl Teddy, not a boy Teddy.
I wish my name was Tilly.
Not Thomas.
Is that why you've been so sad? Errol asked.
I don't care if you're a girl Teddy or a boy Teddy. What matters is that you are my friend.
You're the best friend a bear could have, said Tilly.
Now that you're feeling better, said Errol.
Let's call our friend Ava.
Hi.
All right. Have you heard it enough? There's another minute of this. I think we've heard enough. We get the point. That is leaders in Kansas City, members of the city council, the city manager, the mayor, the press secretary, the creative director, reading this book on National Reading Day on the Kansas City YouTube page, which went viral courtesy of Libs of TikTok last night and now has racked up 1 million views. I will post it on my Twitter X page at Pete Mundo. You can see it there in just in the next few minutes or so. Reading this book, Introducing Teddy, a gentle story about gender and friendship. You know, we just had our third daughter on Sunday, as many of you well know by now. And, you know, I read a lot of kids' books. Would it kill the people in charge in this town to honor National Reading Day by reading Goodnight Moon? Would it kill you to read a book I read last night to Chloe, my soon-to-be 3-year-old, Peter Rabbit? Would it kill you to break out a Dr. Seuss book? Is that too much to ask?
Oh, we canceled him a decade ago.
Well, you're right. He might have been a bad
Seems
example.
like a decade, not been 5 years.
No, you're
but
right.
To your point.
Dr. Seuss did get canceled recently.
Give me some Where the Sidewalk Ends, Shel Silverstein.
Yes.
Some poems.
Give me something. Instead of all the children's books that the Kansas City, Missouri leadership could read on their YouTube page, they had to pick a book about a boy who thought he was a girl. Like, I don't understand, but I get the political play when it comes to why many feel they have to be sufficiently woke in urban America in 2024. But you're doing something that nobody asked you to do. First off, no one knew March 2nd was National Reading Day. So it's not like there was a, rally outside of City Hall, read Introducing Teddy, read Introducing Teddy. There was no chants outside of City Hall demanding that for National Reading Day, you read a book about a transgender bear. Nobody was looking for that. You are there's only downside here in doing something like this. Because you're giving the woke something they never asked for and something they're generally never going to see. Yet you are opening yourself up to a video like this going viral and you getting backlash completely unnecessary and in such an avoidable way. And that's where, I think about this. Mayor Lucas is in the video. And Quentin Lucas and I have talked about this issue before over the last bunch of years. I think, and I'll ask him when he comes on the show tomorrow, I think I know Quentin Lucas well enough to know he doesn't buy any of this. Now, that's my opinion. I think he plays along with it because he knows, in part, politically he has to. But I don't think deep down he buys any of this crap. But he thinks he has to. And this is just one of those things that he's got himself caught in here in recent weeks that is just a pitfall he easily could have avoided. Kind of like with the whole back and forth on Governor Parson. What is a thug? Can you call the Super Bowl parade shooters thugs? I mean, by definition, they're thugs. Thugs don't see race. Thugs don't see color. Thugs, by definition, are what those Super Bowl parade shooters are. He went viral for something he said on another show about that. He's had 2 missteps. And by the way, for whatever you think of Quentin Lucas, he's always been very politically savvy. But in the last couple of weeks, whether it's the thug comments or doing dopey videos like this where he's sitting on a couch with other city leaders reading Introducing Teddy about a transgender bear for National Reading Day, it's like the downside here is so much greater than the upside. 913-408-7957. John's in Grain Valley. What's up, John? You're on KCMO 95.7. Good morning.
Good morning, Pete. Hey, what you're talking about right now actually ties back into your previous segment. This is the modern Democratic Party. They must pander. They must bow to every single group. And I think a lot of what I would say average Americans are looking at going, could you get back to the kitchen table? Could you get back to the rising gas prices, which have gone up almost 40 cents in the last month? Can you tell me about inflation? Can you tell me about these things? But no, let's talk about a gender of a bear, which I never even knew a teddy bear even had a gender.
Yeah.
So this ties exactly in what they are. And I think even Democrats, the ones who can sit back and literally be honest, are looking at this going, this is not my party. This just simply is not the old school Democratic Party. This is a party that is pandering to every single finger quote group they can to stay elected. And that's why they always have to come out and say stupid things or things we don't agree with, because they can't afford to lose any of those groups. They can't afford it.
But
look what's happening in Minneapolis. Michigan.
Yeah.
With the Muslim population and what they're doing to Biden. Now he's got to come out. Oh, yeah, this is not good.
Ceasefire, yeah.
The next group comes along.
Mm-hmm.
Your transgendered bear group is going to be big, and I'm telling you, they're going to be big.
Well, here's the thing. They're never as big, and this is true across the political spectrum. The most radical are never as big of a percentage of the population as they perceive themselves to be. They're loud, but they're not a very big percentage. And I say that across the political spectrum. The most radical are not the majority. And pandering to them is such a mistake. But you're right, John, in Grain Valley, to tie it all back to what we were talking about early this morning. All right, Dems, what can you do for me on inflation, on the border, on foreign policy? Well, not much, but I could read a book about transgender teddy bears. I got that going for me here. 913-408-7957. I will get to more of you on this, and also tied into, as I did become a father for the third time on Sunday, someone with ties to Kansas City who went viral for speaking and talking about fatherhood. I want to share that powerful clip from this week with you next on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM, and also tease Sarah DeValcanair coming up at 7:30 this morning. The wife of Eric DeValcanair, the former KCPD detective, who is potentially waiting a commutation from Governor Mike Parson in the wake of the Cameron Lamb shooting several years ago. She will be here at 7:30 on KCMO. I'm sharing this right now on my Twitter X page, this video that has gone viral. Here's the funny part. It's got 48 views on YouTube. 48 views of leaders in Kansas City, Mayor Lucas, City Manager Brian Platt, council members Jonathan Duncan and Andrea Boo and Rayanna Park Shaw, Press Secretary Sheree Honeycutt, who used to be a media in this town, reading this book on National Reading Day, which was Saturday, March 2nd, Introducing Teddy, a gentle story about gender and friendship. And in the story, Errol, one of the Teddys, finds out that her friend Thomas is sad, and then Thomas breaks the news that in my heart, I've always known that I'm a girl Teddy, not a boy Teddy. Yeah, I know.
Talk about a bombshell.
So that's the book they choose to read. And this is the stupidity of the whole thing. This is the political stupidity of the whole thing. It has 48 views on the Kansas City YouTube page. So once again, no one saw this. There was nothing to gain from this. Nobody asked for this. And now it's got 1 million views on social media, courtesy of Libs of TikTok. That's just wild. 913-408-7957. It's great to be back on a Wednesday morning. Mike's in Gardner. Mike, you're next up. What's up, buddy?
Hey, welcome back and congratulations. What a great name for a daughter.
Thank you.
That's one of the names of my 9 grandkids.
Charlotte Rose. That's fantastic. I love it. Thank you, Mike.
Hey, here's some irony. I remember quite a while ago when they developed the National Reading Day, and it was to honor Dr. Seuss. That is his birthday. And now they're selling his books. I mean, there is some irony here. People step back and realize what you're doing. This is crazy.
I didn't realize that. So National Reading Day is March 2nd because that's Dr. Seuss's birthday.
Exactly.
Wow. how about reading a Dr. Seuss book? I know he's been canceled, but, just read a Dr. One of our favorites, Chloe loves this, our middle child. It's weird to say that now, I got to say. I used to say our youngest. Now I've got to say our middle child.
Yeah.
Hop on Pop. She loves Hop on Pop. That's one of her favorites.
They're all great.
It's like, this is not difficult. Mike, outstanding work. It's like, just read a Dr. Seuss book if you're going to honor National Reading Day. Oh. So speaking of fatherhood and reading books and things like that, Jason Kelsey retired this week, of course, brother of Travis. And I saw his retirement speech, and it was powerful. And, Travis is sitting there. He's crying his eyes out. He's got his sunglasses on as Jason announces his retirement from the Philadelphia Eagles. And, Donna's there, and she's, bawling, and Dad's crying and the whole thing. But one of the most powerful moments of that retirement speech from Jason Kelsey is when he talked about fatherhood. And as someone who just became a father for the third time on Sunday, this really hit home. At a time when we don't value it, at a time when we don't talk about it or appreciate it, in many ways, culturally speaking, like we should, Jason Kelsey put it into words very succinctly.
Also given me 3 beautiful girls and a life that increasingly brings me more fulfillment off the field than it does on. We've had a great run, Kai. I am a product of my upbringing. I think one of the best things a person can be in this world is a father. A father who is present, loving, devoted, just may be the greatest gift a child could ask for in our society. And I have a damn good one. My father believed in me more than anyone.
So that was Jason Kelsey reflecting on now going into his post-playing days life as a dad first, and he always viewed himself as a dad first. But then also talking about the power of his own father and his father always believing in him. And basically saying, without my father, I'm not sitting here today. How many of us, no matter how much success you've had in your own professions, in your own lives as fathers, as husbands, as professionals, how many of us trace that back to our own fathers? Probably most of us, especially as men, but I really think it applies to men and women. It's different, of course, with boys. You're a role model in a way of teaching them to be a man. But for young daughters, you're also teaching them what a man is supposed to be and how a man is supposed to treat you based on how you treat your wife, their mother, things like that. And to hear Jason Kelsey put that as succinctly as he did right there into words was just perfect. And it would be great, wouldn't it, if we heard more professional athletes with a platform like Jason Kelsey's talk about the value of fatherhood and the importance of a father in every household? Because you can tie it back. The greatest chance of success you have, and the data backs this up, is not having the privilege of white skin. It's having the privilege of 2 present parents. The data continues to show that your greatest chance of success is tied to that and that alone, despite what politicians may want to tell you. So good on Jason Kelsey. Outstanding job, and we wish him well in his post-playing days career.